29th at the Wamoko Career and Technical Education Center in Spencerport and the Eastern Monroe Career Center in Parenton. High school counselors can help you sign up, or you can call Wamoko or EMCC for registration information.
Hi, this is Al DiMiola. Did you know that April is Jazz Appreciation Month? Did you know that jazz represents the cultural heritage of the United States? It has its roots in blues and ragtime, and then swing, bebop, fusion. So celebrate the glorious music called jazz. Go to a jazz concert. Explore a new era or musician. Go dancing to jazz music, or just jam with your friends. Jazz made in America, enjoyed worldwide.
And now your Jazz 90.1 weather.
Your Saturday will definitely be the better of the 2 weekend days with an ample amount of sunshine. Not too much of a breeze. The high temperature into the mid 40s. That's still a bit cool for this stage in the game in April. Tonight brings increasing clouds. Look for scattered showers of both rain and wet snow. Overnight low temperatures into the low 30s. Sunday a bit on the gloomy side with an overcast sky and scattered showers of both rain and wet snow. Could see a little bit of accumulation in the hills south of the Thruway, the high in the low 40s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
And currently right now we've got partly cloudy skies, 37 degrees out at the airport and 41 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, this is Al Malutis. Join Ray Seraphin and me on the Polka Bandstand Show every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
He's got to change. That's supposed to be a polka show, and he's playing this music? Come on. Rob.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Dennis Worster.
And online, we have Steve Ray. Do you want to be on? Do you want to be?
This just in.
This just in. Here
There
he
he
is. He's here. If you can see him online. Steve was kind enough to fix my screw ups. Apparently, I really don't know how to use StreamYard at all. Also, I couldn't get to the.
Nick, you should go find somebody who's good at computers.
Because it ain't me. I had. I couldn't get to Facebook, and it stalled everything.
Okay.
Because I don't know why I can't get to Facebook with this machine, but I couldn't. And consequently, it stalled everything. But Steve was kind enough to take time out from being one step ahead of the law somewhere in the Southwest to put us all on live. So we're live on YouTube, and I think, are we also live on, no, just YouTube.
Well, hey, that's a heck of a start.
YouTube is where you'll find us if you're on YouTube.
That's right.
Otherwise, we're here on StreamYard. We're here on live on the air, and we're streaming at jazz901.org. And I believe it's time for another news item. While you give us a call at 585-9660. That's 966-5299. Toll free 1-800-790-0415. On Thursday, Apple released fixes for 2 critical zero-day vulnerabilities in iPhones, iPads, and Macs that give hackers dangerous access to the internals of the OSs the device runs on. The devices run on. Mm-hmm. Apple credited an anonymous researcher with discovering both vulnerabilities. The first vulnerability resides in Mac OS for Monterey, which is probably not the way you say that.
Well.
And in iOS or iPad OS for most iPhone and iPad models. The flaw, which stems from an out-of-bounds write issue, as so many do, gives hackers the ability to execute malicious code that runs in with privileges of the kernel, the most security-sensitive region of the OS. The other vulnerability, meanwhile, also results from an out-of-bounds read issue that can lead to the disclosure of kernel memory. Apple disclosed only bare-bones details for the flaws. Apple is aware of a report that this issue may have been actively exploited, they wrote, of both vulnerabilities. These are the 4th and 5th 0 days Apple has patched this year. In January, the company rushed out patches for iOS, iPadOS, macOS, Monterey, watchOS, tvOS, and HomePod software to fix a 0-day memory corruption flaw that could give exploiters the ability to execute code with kernel privileges. The bug resided in the I/O mobile frame buffer. Mm-hmm. A separate vulnerability made it possible for websites to track sensitive user information. The exploit code for that vulnerability was released publicly prior to the patch being issued. That's bad. Apple in February pushed out a fix for a use after free bug that in the WebKit browser engine, use after free is one of the most common bugs. that gave attackers the ability to run malicious code on iPhones, iPads, and iPod Touches. Apple said, are they still making iPod Touches?
Do you call it iPod Touches or iPod's Touch?
Oh, very good question. Like attorneys general.
Attorneys General, yes.
Okay. Apple said that good question. Apple said that reports it received indicated the vulnerability might have been already actively exploited as well. A spreadsheet Google research security researchers maintained to track 0 days shows Apple fixed a total of 12 such vulnerabilities in 2021. Among those is a flaw in iMessenger that the Pegasus spyware framework was targeting using a zero-click exploit, meaning devices were infected merely by receiving a malicious message without any user interaction required.
That's capital B bad.
That's capital B bad. Capital B-A-D bad.
Right.
2 0 days that Apple patched in May made it possible for attackers to infect fully up-to-date devices. So are your Apple devices up to date? Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299, toll free 1-800-790-0415.
Apple's got a checkbox that they allow you to set on nearly all of their devices that says, keep my device up to date. And what that means is the device phones home periodically, says, hey, are there any updates for me? And I think in general it does this once a week, but I think you can tweak things to make it happen more often.
You can do it by hand every hour if you want to.
Sure. You can manually hit the button and say, how about now? How about now? How about now?
That's one thing I couldn't believe about Linux. I'm working away, setting stuff up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I hear ding.
Yep.
And this window opens up down in the corner and says, hey, you got some updates you should do. You want to do them now?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Windows doesn't do that for me.
Right. So it'll do them for you. And unless it's a kernel change, you don't reboot.
Yeah.
Which for Windows people is a shock. For Mac people, it's like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here I had this big screen and, I hear the ding and I'm looking all over and I go down to the corner. There's this little...
Yeah, because it's not going to interrupt you. Your machine won't stop running.
No,
nothing bad will happen.
No. Matter of fact, it gave you the option whether you want to do it now or delay it an hour or whatever.
Right? Yeah, right.
But it does take a little while when you've got a watch and you've got two Apple TVs at home and a handful of miscellaneous machines and suddenly you realize, oh, I've got updates. Okay, well I made sure that the box is checked, but still because I'm paranoid, I'd just go through and wander around the house, clicking,
it's your job.
Yep, do it, and then they're all done. But when you hear about updates, suddenly it's like, oh, okay, I've got some work to do, and to tell the wife and the kids to do all their phones, and
yep.
There's a lot to keep track of.
Yep. All right, to the phones. Our next caller is Pat from Batavia, New York. Hiya, Pat. What's up?
Well, Nick and the guys had an issue that came up. My wife and I had some extra money from taxes, and she said, go out and buy yourself a new computer.
God bless her.
So I ran,
Yeah, before she changes her mind, right?
Absolutely, you got that. And so first thing I remember is Nick said, you get more power per dollar for a desktop, so I did that.
Okay.
And I think Dave said LibreOffice is a good program to install.
Mm-hmm.
And Dennis said, I hope someday I'm as old as Nick and Dave. I wanted to include everybody.
If I can live that long, that'll be wonderful.
There you go, brother. Okay, now I'm going to switch hands because here's the problem.
Okay.
I downloaded the LibreOffice install program. It says type as Windows installer. I double click on it, and I'm doing this in real time. And I get a message that pops up and says, this installation package could not be opened. Verify the package exists and that you can access it or contact the application vendor, blah, blah, blah. So
sounds like a bad download.
Wait a minute. When you were downloading, did you get a message that says keep
or run?
Or there's a blue window that opens up and you got to click on it and say more, and it'll say, yeah, keep it anyways, because Windows tries to block stuff.
Especially installers.
Yeah, especially if it thinks something isn't right as far as being an installer.
Okay, I'm not going to pretend I can answer that question.
Okay.
Because it was yesterday. So
All right.
Right.
What I was going to say or ask you is, I also took your advice to put the Revo in.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I would think about that 3 years into owning the computer. This time I did it right at the beginning.
Good job.
Very good.
Should I, again, you guys told us to do that, and then I listened to about 10% of what you say. And
Hey, that's twice as
I'm
much as
going to
people
do
usually
backup someday, too.
All right.
We'll get you there.
Well,
You'll get
before in
eventually.
between that, we got to get you using a
I know. So anyway,
password
should
manager.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to do that, too. You want to see my red notebook? Okay.
Yeah.
Seriously, should I just delete this
Yes.
program and reinstall, or should I use a Revo, or what?
If it didn't install
Right.
because you got that error message, all you have to do is delete the installer file you downloaded.
Okay.
Now,
And
when you go to download it again, you have 6 choices.
Okay,
One of which is Windows 32-bit and the other of which is Windows 64-bit.
Okay, let me just go back to the LibreOffice. First of all, it is LibreOffice.org.
Yep, LIBRE office.org.
Yeah. Okay, so I had the option to do LibreOffice 7.3.2.
That's the one.
If you're an early adopter, and no, I'm not an early adopter. I'm still thinking about a password manager, so I'm not early adopter. So 7.2.6.
Right.
And you're right, it's a 64 version or all the other ones.
Right.
And I picked the 64.
Okay.
And I'm going to do it again because I've got a high-speed internet here.
Right. What sometimes happens is that things come down badly, frankly.
Okay, well, I'll click save here. And let's see, it says your download will begin shortly.
Mm-hmm.
And while we're doing this, I got another quick question. Greenlight.
Yeah.
Does it really have the same 150 or 300, whatever it is, same upload as download?
It is symmetrical. They say on their site it is symmetrical. Now, nothing is 100% symmetrical.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I understand that. But, I mean, I've got a high-speed internet. It's supposed to be a gigabyte. I don't get over 500 or 600, but it's only 50 upload, which is still, anybody that's plugging along at 2 megabytes is going to say, what are you complaining about 50?
Yeah, right.
Anyway, that's done. So it says show all. Okay, it's still downloading. So I got another 42 seconds.
Yeah, but yes, Greenlight is symmetrical as they advertise on their website.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I get slightly less upload than I do download.
But way more than 50.
Way more than 50 and very close to what I'm paying for. So, I don't complain. The other thing is, where are you testing? I did just the other day, just because I was apparently bored. I did a test to 5 different locations.
Okay.
I got 5 different responses.
Oh, yeah.
You
Depending on the traffic and
Yeah.
in your
hardware.
house, or-
Yeah, he was in his house. Yep, he's got green light service.
Yeah, I have Greenlight at home.
So you walked all around your house to see?
No. I was just sitting at my desk, plugged right into the router. I used 5 different sites on the web. You go to speedtest.net, I think it is, and you can pick your server.
Yeah.
So I picked U of R, I picked RIT, I picked one in Syracuse, I picked another one somewhere else. And I downloaded, I checked
Tested
5
it.
different sites, and they were all different speeds.
Oh, well. Okay, I know your listeners are sitting there with bated breath and they're wondering how this is going to work out.
Yes, drum roll.
So I double left click, right? Correct?
Yep,
Right.
Get that rolling.
And it says the same thing. This installation package could not be opened.
Did you click twice?
Yeah.
On the little thing at the bottom right?
No, I clicked. I'm in the Windows folders.
Wait a minute. When you click the download, did it give you any kind of message?
It popped up no, I didn't see a message. So maybe what I need to do in order to get all of this, and I won't do this on air, but does this make any sense to you? That I shut everything down, restart the computer, delete this first of all, and then start all over again in case a message would only come up once.
You could,
Wouldn't
but
hurt.
sometimes though, up in the upper right-hand corner of your browser, you can get a warning that you're trying to download something and Windows is blocking it.
I will upper right-hand corner, you said, right?
Yeah, you can get warnings in your browser that, Windows, it's got a tagline across it saying, Windows prevented, is unsure about this install. You sure you want to do this?
No, I just did it again, and it seems to be coming right up. So, yeah, it's possible that there was a message, and I just ignored it. So I think what I'll do is I'll just shut everything down, and I'll call you back next week and tell you if it worked.
All right, and if that doesn't work, what you can do, your wife has a computer?
Oh, I got all around the house. I got LibreOffice on the computer upstairs. Wait a minute.
Well,
here.
Oh, you know what? Maybe you're not running it as administrator.
Could be.
This is a new one, I think. Okay.
Right click on it.
So
Click on the installer and say run as administrator.
That's a good point. I'm going to download it again. And like I said, I'm not going to keep you on the line for that, but I will next time run it as administrator, right?
Yep.
That's the way to do it.
Okay, I'll try that. If that doesn't work, I'll restart the computer. I'll jump up and down and swear at you guys. And
wait. One more thing just to get you installed. Now, can you see the files on your wife's machine?
No, hers is another room. And
so you don't share files between each other?
No, she's got a whole different.
All right. Well, what you could do, though, is download it on her machine, put it to a flash drive, bring it over to yours, plug it in, and.
Yeah, but I think it's an MSI file, which is how you install programs to Windows. So I guarantee you, it won't let you install it if you're not administrator.
Yeah, I do see it. Okay, now it's up here showing folder, so I'm going to right click, and then let's see. The options are install, repair, uninstall, troubleshoot, install with Revo Uninstaller Pro, scan with Microsoft Defender, open with, give access to, restore, send to, cut, create.
It's not an executable, you won't be able to run this as administrator.
What if I install with Revo Uninstaller Pro?
That would be it. That's the one that seemed interesting to me.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device?
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, well, Dennis, thank you.
Well,
I'll tell you, look, you're there today. Now guess what?
Educated guess.
Yeah, well, half right. The same thing popped up. Installation could not be opened. Verify the package exists that you can access with a contact. The other thing I'm going to do is, and see if this makes. I'm just going to pick another program in it and try to download it.
Yep.
And if
I
that
would also
works,
check and see if you've got any Windows updates that are pending. I wonder if that package might be cryptographically signed.
Well, typically what I ran into on my new Dell that I got is Windows tends to block installing any other software. And, you usually get a window and you have to click on more and you say, yeah, go ahead and do this. I trust this site and that. And they put up a warning.
Right. Yeah. But he wouldn't even get the MSI to click on in that case.
Oh, yeah. It'll download it. Or it'll start to.
Quarantine it?
It'll start to. And then, but it doesn't complete it.
And you'll end up with a
because you really, it puts it down on that taskbar, but it's not there.
Right.
I see. So it aborts the download.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it says, no, I'm not going to allow that on my machine, even though Windows thinks it downloaded and puts it on that.
What browser are you using?
This is Chrome.
Should work.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm afraid we'd have to be sitting at the machine to see.
No, that's fine. I understand. No,
you're on the right track.
See one more thing I'll read to you. At the top of the screen it says, Revo Uninstaller Pro is a monitoring system. Is monitoring system changes. Proceed with the installation as usual. Please do not run any other setup files, programs, or anything else during the installation of the program after you finish.
So what it sounds like is that Revo Uninstaller is blocking it until you say yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to shut everything down, start it up, and watch for any windows that I should have seen before.
Well, that one right there tells me that what it's saying is Revo uninstaller is blocking the install until you say it's okay.
Okay, but I should have seen something that asked me if it was okay, right?
Isn't that asking you?
No. It just says, do not run any other setup file, programs, or anything else during the installation of the program. And they even threw an exclamation point in there.
Somebody's saying, though, maybe you're running the SE version of Windows?
That's a version 10.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
there are several flavors of Windows 10.
Yeah, there's Pro, there's Home, and there's SE.
One of them is
S.
Yeah, S is a version that is for lower power computers that doesn't use applications like LibreOffice in the same way.
You'd have to go into your control panel, click on the system, and that will open up a window, and it'll tell you down a little bit what version of Windows 10 you're running, whether it's Windows Pro, Windows Home, Windows S.
Yeah, I found it. Thank you. OS name, Microsoft Windows 10 Pro.
Oh, Pro, yeah.
Yeah, you should be all right. I don't know. Honestly, Pat, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll just start shutting everything down and going back to the basics.
Yeah, and look at the whole screen, and if that other thing pops up, check it.
I think I might have said something, and I just didn't really catch it. So, thank you, and I'll get to work, and I'll listen to the after I turn the computer back on.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, we'll see you guys.
Bye-bye. Yeah, one of the issues we run into all the time, it's multifold. Sometimes it's your fault for not reading the screen carefully before you click yes or no.
Right.
Sometimes it's because stuff pops up in weird places. You had a thing up in the upper right, a thing in the lower right. There might have been a thing in the lower left when the download started. So there's just a whole lot to take in when you're looking at the screen, and sometimes we miss something because we're so focused on the fact that we want to install a piece of software.
Right.
And so we miss what else is going on.
And Windows, it's not just Windows, but there have been an awful lot of pieces of easily downloadable, hey, click here, lots of flashing lights, and suddenly you get an installer. And there have been attempts by the browser manufacturer, by the operating system to say, whoa, time out, hold up. Number one, do you want to allow this download? Number two, if you download this and try to install it, are you sure you want to install this? Just trying to get people out of that tunnel vision for the installation.
Even on Linux, if I start to install something under Chrome, if I start to download a file under Chrome that ends in .exe or .msi, I get a little pop-up that says, this may harm your computer. Of course, it won't. I can't run it. This may harm your computer. Are you sure you want to download it? You have to say yes for the download to finish.
Yes, you have to approve.
Defender, they're saying, I was just quick looking, and they're saying Defender can, how to open a file blocked by Windows Defender Smart Screen.
Okay.
Oh, so if he stops Windows Defender and then installs the software and then starts Defender again.
I just did a search, on how to, what did I put in?
It's really important to keep yourself protected. And that protection can get in the way of productivity of actually getting something done, like installing an app that you want to install.
I just typed in how to unblock a program being installed on a Windows 10 machine.
Right.
And boom, a lot of stuff comes up. And because I remember I had that, like I say, that issue with my new computer, that I was trying to download some software packages I've done countless times on other machines, and all of a sudden this new machine is say, no, you can't do that. Well, now it opens up a little window and it says, you click on more and you can then say, yes, it's okay to keep it.
Okay.
But you have to click on more, which maybe Pat didn't notice.
Yeah.
Yep.
And keep anyways, and then it puts it down in my download folder.
Right. That makes sense. Windows is just trying to protect you from installing software that they don't approve of.
Yeah, that tries to sneak in.
Right.
As we've said before, you install a package and other stuff tries to sneak in behind it and get installed too.
That's right. So it is very, what they really want you to do is go to the Microsoft Store and only install packages in the Microsoft Store.
Bingo.
And I don't honestly know if
does
LibreOffice is in
say?
the Microsoft
Yeah,
Store. I
that's the
doubt it.
question.
Well, the other thing
Seems
he can
unlikely.
use too, though, is Google Docs.
Sure.
If he's using Chrome, he's got a Gmail account. He just open up Google, Docs
That's
or
another alternative.
spreadsheet, or everything's there too.
He did
It's saved
mention-
up to the cloud.
He's a LibreOffice user. He's got it installed on other machines, he said. So chances are good he wants to try and keep the same feature parity across machines. So I'm confident he's going to get this figured out. He'll let us know what happens.
I am too. And apparently it is in the Microsoft Store.
Uh-huh.
So Pat could just go to the Microsoft Store and download it and all his problems go away. Interesting. All right, we are done for the first hour, but do not go away. There's an entire hour of the longest running computer show in the known universe ahead of us. We're going to have Dave Enright. We're going to have Dennis Worster. We're going to have Steve Ray somewhere out in the ether. We're going to have me, Nick Francesco, and we're going to have you. It is 59 minutes after the hour. It is Sound Bytes, and we are going to take a break, but we'll be back. So take a little bio break. Enjoy yourself. Relax. Get a beverage of whatever sort makes you happy. And then come back for more Sound Bytes right here on the Truly Great, and truly grateful to you because we are solely member supported Jazz 90.1. We will see you on the other side.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbites.org. More with Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
WGMC Greece Rochester, a public service of the Greece Central School District and official media partner of this year's CGI Rochester International Jazz Festival, Jazz 90.1.
On Instagram at WGMC Jazz 901.
This is an NBC News Radio special report. The Russian invasion of Ukraine. This morning, new propaganda video released by Russian state TV showing Mariupol, the city Russian troops have destroyed. Molly Hunter with more.
Inside, an estimated 100,000 people still trapped, desperately trying to escape. And according to local officials, 10 buses and the Red Cross are trying to make it into the area this morning.
The president of Ukraine is pleading with the U.S. for more planes and missiles. Speaking to Fox News, Volodymyr Zelensky said President Biden should not bother sending helmets to fight the Russian invasion, but should instead send more missiles and planes. Pope Francis is indicating that he may travel to Kyiv amid the ongoing Russian invasion. While the pontiff has yet to mention Putin by name, he has repeatedly been vocal about his disapproval of Russia's actions in Ukraine. This has been an NBC News Radio special report, The Russian Invasion of Ukraine. I'm Julie Ryan.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by Finger Lakes Mercantile, a veteran-owned and operated business offering graphic design services and UV printing. For more information, including samples of the products they provide, you may visit fingerlakesmercantile.com or call 585-944-1077.
Official WGMC contest rules are available online at www.jazz901.org.
This program is presented by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Obesity is a major public health problem in the U.S. Nearly 1 in 5 young people between the ages of 2 and 19 has obesity. Unfortunately, children with obesity are likely to become adults who struggle with their weight. Obesity in adults is associated with heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Children with obesity are more likely to suffer from depression and low self-esteem. Developing healthy habits early in life can help prevent obesity. Eat a diet high in fruits and vegetables, drink water instead of sweetened beverages, and get regular physical activity. These are the most effective ways for children and parents to maintain a healthy weight. Thank you for joining us on A Minute of Health with CDC.
For the most accurate health information, visit cdc.gov or call 1-800-CDC-INFO.
Hi, this is Carlos Santana. Did you know that April is Jazz Appreciation Month? I've been inspired by great musicians such as Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Herbie Hancock, and Wayne Shorter. Let jazz inspire you. Check out a jazz club, read a book, buy a CD, take a child to hear a jazz concert. Jazz, born in America, enjoyed worldwide. For further information, visit smithsonianjazz.org.
Hi, this is Christian Scott, and April is Jazz Appreciation Month. Did you know that as a young man, Louis Armstrong revolutionized American music? He almost single-handedly transformed jazz from an ensemble music into a solo art and taught other musicians how to swing and scat sing. And another thing that people don't know, that Louis Armstrong is actually responsible for the modern trumpet range. Before Pops came along, guys couldn't play notes like high C's and F's, but he stayed up there all day. So to give him his props, you should keep swinging and listening and supporting jazz. Jazz, born in America, enjoyed worldwide. For more information, visit smithsonianjazz.org.
Hi, this is Dave Holland. I want to let you know that April is Jazz Appreciation Month. To celebrate, I suggest maybe you do this. Why don't you go to a jazz show or a club or a concert hall and take someone who never thought they'd like jazz? Once they experience it live, you know they'll become instant fans. And here's another suggestion. For a creative gift idea, give that friend or family member your favorite jazz album. What more personal gift could you give right now? The gift of music. No matter what, this month and every month, enjoy this wonderful music called jazz. Born in America, created internationally, and enjoyed worldwide.
Welcome back to America's longest-running computer show, Sound Bytes, on member-supported Jazz 90.1. Get online now. Call 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll-free 800-790-0415. Or submit your question by email at soundbytes.org. Once again, here's Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Dennis Worster.
And he's Steve Ray.
Steve Ray in the video chat here, in the video
He's in the
stream.
video. We did have Linux. Living Room Jazz by Williams says, I love my distro. God bless Linux. Okay. A lot of people are playing with Linux these days. A lot of people. And it's...
well, they're getting tired of Windows bricking their machine. Or Windows, Microsoft, I'll broaden it. Microsoft using every user as a beta tester.
That's right.
Back in the day, you had to sign up to be a beta tester.
Well, not just every user, every customer. You are actively paying them.
Oh, you're not Microsoft's customer. I keep reminding you of that. Microsoft's customers are the shareholders.
Yep.
Microsoft is a publicly traded company. Therefore, the customers are the shareholders. We are the product they bring to those customers
to make more money.
That's how that works. That's economics 101. They don't care about you. They care about their shareholders. And if you have to be the guinea pig to make the shareholders happier,
oh, well,
fine. That's fine.
So be it. And you get to pay the price. And, that's why so many of their rollouts, and they've been the subject of ridicule here, because everything they try to do either breaks a machine or mucks it up big time, destroys people's data. I mean, you could probably get millions of people that, due to updates and everything else, have destroyed their machine, or they start using a product and then all of a sudden they walk away from it. And it's like,
back in the day when you could not schedule an update for Windows, we'd have faculty who didn't use their machine for 4 or 5 days and then came in to teach their laptops, came in to teach a class, opened up the laptop in front of the class, and there's a 2-hour download install waiting for them, and they can't say no. What do you do? I've had many frantic calls. Help me.
Yeah, what's going on here?
We've said many times, you're in your office for office hours before class, turn your machine on.
Yeah.
Turn your laptop on and let it update then. But they often don't. And
well,
what it is.
That makes no sense, just to even just have it running and turn off the monitor.
Yeah.
What's so hard about that? That way you don't ever have to worry about it. Matter of fact, it's less wear and tear on the computer.
That's right.
But if you can get an operating system like Linux and install it on the hardware you already own, and you have more control over what you want to do, and you have the ability to customize it to look and behave the way you like, and it all costs you a total of not even a dime.
Exactly.
You've
already got the hardware.
Or it just costs you your time and learning
but
something.
That's fun. That's fun time.
Oh, that is.
The Mac does much the same thing, but with the Mac, you can't just get the operating system. You have to buy the hardware.
That's true.
If you've already got hardware sitting around that you're not using or you use rarely and you want to play with a new operating system, Linux is free. Absolutely 100% free. You can start with a distribution that already exists and just play with that until you get comfortable, and then you can start experimenting, or you can start experimenting from the beginning.
And the thing of it is, though, is there's so many tutorials, YouTube videos, that if you want to install, say, you folks have heard us talk about it, Linux Mint or Linux XFCE.
Right.
You can do a Google search on that, and there are plenty of videos that will walk you through on setting up the basics.
Right.
And it is not hard, folks. And if it's an old machine, so what if you mess it up? You just erase it and start again. No biggie.
And there are a dozen versions of Linux that look like Windows.
Yeah.
So you don't even really have to learn anything terribly new to start with.
No.
But you can make it look just utterly amazing. Utterly amazing. A lot of people, we've talked about the various -look sites. Many people just change colors, but some people are doing some truly amazing things. I should bring in my Linux laptop next week so you can see what I've done to mine.
Well, I think I'm going to have to install Wine, because I want a couple of my software packages are Windows based.
Okay. Right.
And I'm going to have to run those in a Windows emulator program.
Wine is not an emulator. That's what it stands for.
Terminal program. Yeah. Terminal program.
It is an emulator. It just says it isn't. But Wine is a program that lets you run many, not all, but many Windows programs under Linux. So if you've got an app that only ever runs on Windows, the likelihood that you can run it under Windows is high. All right, let's read another news item while you give us a call at 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 1-800-790-0415. Russia's biggest internet company has embedded code into apps found on mobile devices that allows him back to Russia, that allows information about millions of users to be sent to servers located in its home country. The revelation relates to software created by Yandex that permits developers to create apps for devices running both Apple's iOS and Google's Android. Pay attention. This is both iOS and Android. Researcher Zach Edwards first made the discovery regarding Yandex's code as part of an app auditing campaign for Me2B Alliance, which is a nonprofit organization. Okay. 4 independent experts ran tests to verify his work, so we know it's true. Yandex has acknowledged its software collects device, network, and IP address information that is stored both in Finland and in Russia, but it calls these data non-personalized and very limited. It added, although theoretically possible, in practice it is extremely hard to identify users based solely on such information collected. Yandex definitely cannot do this. Again, I apologize to every Eastern European on the planet. The revelations come at a critical time for Yandex, often referred to as Russia's Google, which has long attempted to chart an independent path without falling foul of Russian President Vladimir Putin's desire for greater control of the internet. The company said it followed a very strict internal process when dealing with governments. Any requests that fail to comply with all relevant procedural and legal requirements are turned down. But Cher Scarlett, formerly a principal software engineer, I love that name, Cher Scarlett, with 2 T's. Formerly a principal, frankly, my dear, formerly a principal software engineer with global security at Apple, said once user information was collected on Russia's servers, Yandex could be obliged to submit it to the government under local laws. Other experts said that the metadata of the sort collected by Yandex could be used to identify users. Yandex has software in the form of a software development kit or SDK called AppMetrica. Among the apps with AppMetrica installed are games, messaging apps, location sharing tools, hundreds of virtual private networks, tools designed to allow people to browse the web without being tracked, ironically. 7 of the VPNs are made specifically for a Ukrainian audience. Total installs of apps that include the AppMetrica SDK are in the hundreds of millions, according to App Figures, which is an app intelligence group. Ron Wyden, chair of the U.S. Senate's Finance Committee and one of the architects of the U.S. Internet regulation, heavily criticized Google and Apple for not doing enough to secure smartphones from the Yandex software, which has found its way onto 52,000 applications, reaching hundreds of millions of consumers. Senator Wyden added, Apple and Google maintain that their monopoly-like control over their app stores is necessary to keep customers safe. Every day that apps built off Russian Yandex SDK remain in those stores is further proof that the consumer safety they claim to offer is an illusion. Some app developers have started to remove Appmetrica from their apps following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Opera, a popular web browser with a built-in VPN, also said it disabled the SDK as of February 15th in preparation for its full removal. It did not give a reason beyond saying we switched to our own advertising platform. Conversely, more than 2,000 apps have added Appmetrica SDK since the invasion of Ukraine. So are you sure you're safe? Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299, toll free, 1-800-790-0415. Just like Jim did from Arundecoit, New York. Hi, Jim. What's up?
Hey, so my computer updated the Microsoft update, and the next thing I know, it's not a real old computer, but it's a desktop, like maybe 5 years old.
Yeah. Okay.
It just, the hard drive I can't get it back up. It happened once before, and I went online and found some solution where you switch the booting to a legacy or something.
Yep.
And it worked. That time it worked, but this time nothing. It's like dead. Is it worthwhile to take it somewhere, have them remove the hard drive and put a new one in? And
hold on a minute. Do you even, when you turn the machine on with the maybe the side of the case off, do you hear the hard drive even spinning up?
I can't tell you that, but I've tried pushing the F1 button to get to that screen and tried all that, and it doesn't work at all. That no longer comes up. Well, it does, I guess, if I do it 3 or 4 times, but I can't tell you if I hear it humming or not. I don't know. If I hear it spinning or not, I don't know.
Yeah, you might. Sometimes you can, turn the machine off, of course. If you take the side of the cover off and undo the 2 screws that is holding the hard drive in.
Yeah.
And you can pull it out and, sort of hold it in your hand and turn it on, and you can feel it.
Yeah, start to spin up.
Spin up.
Yeah. The metal platters on the inside.
Yeah.
You can feel the torque.
But it is a good idea to take it to a reputable dealer and have them take a look at it. It may be a dead component, or it could be that Windows borked installing. So
hard drives die all the time. When we were building machines, I could order, a bunch of hard drives. I remember one time we ordered like 10 of them, and 8 out of the 10 were dead right out of the bag.
Yikes. That's a horrible rate.
Yeah, that's a horrible rate. I wouldn't buy that company.
It was back in the 80s when Western Digital was having some issues.
I was going to say, was it Western Digital?
Yeah, Western Digital, and 8 out of the 10 died right out of the bag.
But a local shop will probably be able to diagnose this relatively quickly and give you your options, and then you'll have a good path to move forward from.
I called one place, and they said if it's single SSD, what does that stand for? Single
solid state drive.
Solid state.
It's a fresher, more modern way to store things. Old hard drives had metal platters that spun around, and you'd use magnetism to write to them and read.
Magnetism.
And the new models just read and write to chips, like on the same way your cell phone stores data.
Very small, very fast, very fast. And use less electricity and last the same amount of time, frankly.
But he was saying there's a possibility they wouldn't be able to transfer the data from that type of hard drive to a
if
new
it
one?
were an SSD and it did not boot at all, it may just simply be dead. Yes.
Yeah.
But it is, if your machine is 5 years old, it's highly unlikely it's an SSD.
Oh. No, but I thought he read it on the side there of the label that shows all the information.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, it could be.
Now, is it worth it to do that? Or because I have another computer, it's just mostly there's music on there that I was trying to save.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
The local shop can help you figure that out.
Exactly. And in any case, getting a new drive in there means that you will have, again, a new machine, even if they can't get any of the data off the old drive, you'll still have a second working machine. You can put your music back on it.
Right.
One other thing you can do, if you're not using that machine right away, you can get these drive enclosures or cables for going from SATA to USB. You can get them on Amazon. They're like $4. What you could do is order one of these. You pull that hard drive out, you hook up this drive to your second machine and boot it up. And if the drive is any good, it's going to see that other drive so you can get your music and that off of it. And for the price of that little cable, you can,
avoid a trip to the shop.
Yeah, and determine whether, I got to get this hard drive's dead and I need to get a new one. And you can still, use that cable for down the road if you want to pick up another drive and use it for your backup.
Right.
So that might be another option.
All right, maybe I'll try doing that and see what that. You called it a what? A SATA? SATA?
No, SATA. SADTA. SATA to USB cable.
SATA.
SATA. And it's maybe about 6 8 inches long,
depending on the one you get.
Yeah. And it goes from hooks right up to your SATA drive, because that's what all the hard drives nowadays are. And it goes from the SATA drive and it converts to USB.
Yeah. They're about what, $20-$30?
No, I got
said 4.
Depends on which one you get.
Okay. Or which shop you go to.
Yeah, I got mine for like $6 or $8, I think it was.
Yeah, I wound up getting like 3 of them.
Last time I needed one, I was in a hurry and
yeah.
I had to go.
So if I'm gonna try removing the hard drive, is there anything I should be aware of? If I'm going after those 2 little screws you mentioned?
Yeah, make sure the machine is turned off.
Right.
Leave it plugged in though, because that way when you touch the case, you're grounding yourself.
Okay.
Not the plastic case.
Right.
Some metal in
the metal
case.
inside. And you take those 2 screws out, the hard drive will slide out. You unconnect the 2, usually it's 2 connectors, the power and the data connector to the SATA drive on a desktop. Unhook them, and there you go.
All right, maybe I'll try that.
Give it a shot. Let us know.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks for
I
calling.
will tell you, Dave, I just took a couple weeks ago, I took about a dozen laptops, took the hard drives out of all of them.
Yeah.
Not one of them had fewer than 4 screws in it. Not one of them.
Oh yeah, no, most laptops always. Yeah, they know. Well, because they're being toted around.
No, I get that, but don't tell them 2 screws if there's 4. You should look for all 4.
Sometimes the desktops are in these little trays. Well, some of the corporate stuff, they make really easy to chop and swap everything. And that they're held in sometimes just with little pins and spring-loaded things. But
unfortunately, every single one I had was made by some sort of
screw merchant
who threw in. I've now got 2. Well, to some of you, this will make no sense. Film canisters.
What?
I now have 2 full film canisters of screws.
Old Kodak.
Old Kodak films canisters.
35 millimeter.
35 millimeter.
Okay.
I'm going to have to start 3D printing them because I can't get any more.
With the nice little Rubbermaid lids that they would have.
Right. Right, exactly.
Okay, hold on.
So yeah, there's I don't know. Can you still buy film canisters?
I don't know. We used to put, because I have been riding bikes forever. We used to put $6.75 worth of quarters.
Sure.
In there. And then when you're out and you need to call home, back in the days before cell phones, you could hit that and call home, or you could go get yourself a burger and a drink while you're figuring out how to mend your flat. But
yeah, right, exactly.
So they're handy.
Apparently, you can buy on Amazon. You can buy 15 of them for $7.
50 cents a piece?
Yeah.
Huh. Who knew?
Who knew? And Prime delivery, you'd get them Tuesday.
Oh, good.
That's important.
What are you 2 talking about?
Film canisters.
Nerd Easter eggs.
Oh, okay.
Nerd Easter eggs.
Yep. Okay.
And Easter is coming.
That's right. And you put the candy in there.
Or I bought one of those little things, the little USB double-edged USB.
Oh,
things.
yes. So we talked about last week.
I just got it. I haven't put anything on it, so I'm not carrying it with me.
Speaking of purchases, yes, I talked about a USB flash drive that had a USB-A connector on one side and a USB-C connector on the other, and both have access to the same data, so that when you are using your newer computer that only has USB-C connections, you can still get to the data. And if you need to do something like put a boot drive on it that you can boot up one of your older computers with, or a live CD or a live installer, then you can do that.
And you were completely accurate. My daughter's already stolen one. My wife has not yet.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, there's the key. Yeah,
exactly.
I told you, you have to saturate the house with them.
I already bought 3, and I may buy another 3 this weekend.
There you go.
Because I'll be needing them. All right, to the phones. Our next caller is Don, who is from Pittsford, New York, but apparently currently is in North Carolina, enjoying the sunshine. We hate you, Don. What's up?
Well, the sun is shining indeed.
And shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about 72, 73 degrees.
Please.
I feel for you, but I'm sitting.
Yeah.
Something about a computer question?
Yes. My question is, how do I determine if my PC has VPN, virtual private network, loaded on it, and whether or not that is turned on or off, and how do I find it to turn it off if I choose?
Okay. For our listeners, I'm going to give a little bit of background so that we can all be on the same
I think
page.
he should come back to Rochester to get the answer.
That's right. We don't answer people down there.
So a VPN is a connection that your computer makes to another computer across the internet. And the internet itself is not necessarily trustworthy. People can see things as they pass along. A virtual private network is a connection that you make where each side agrees to encrypt the traffic, to scramble the data in a way that can be unscrambled at the other end, but in a way that is terribly computationally expensive to figure out while it's in flight between the 2 points. Right. And this is commonly used if you are connecting back to your workplace, or if you're connecting to a university, or any place where you need to have a trustworthy connection between 2 points on the internet.
Now, the big issue here, well, first let's answer your question. The easiest way to tell if you're connected to a VPN on your PC, hover your mouse pointer over the network icon on the lower right of your taskbar there.
Down by the clock.
Down by the clock, there's a little network icon. Hover over that, you'll see a little pop-up. If you have a VPN connection, it will show there.
It'll be listed.
Okay, I'm looking at that, and I'm seeing the volume control, the date time stamp, and to the right is looks like a file with the numeral 1 in it. Where do I click?
You don't click on anything. If you had a VPN, it would show up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
are you pointing to the network icon? I think it's in that same area, so it doesn't matter. I think you got it.
Another thing to know is that
Right
a
here, why don't I
VPN
use
connection is typically a manual connection. It's something that you would have to initiate.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't initiated it, chances are good
you don't
have one. Secondarily, I believe there's a built-in VPN piece of software built into Windows, but oftentimes a workplace or somewhere else that you're attempting to connect to will give you software that you are likely to use, where you need to input some credentials to connect to the VPN, usually a username and a password.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't done either of those things, or you don't have that software, chances are good that you are not actively connected to a VPN right now.
Okay, my memory is a little bit vague, but I'm using AVG software paid version, and it seems to me, if I recall correctly, that there was a choice that pop-up that came up with regarding VPN. My question is simply that occasionally, but rarely, I watch a television program or want to on the computer with a Spectrum account. I have spent a few hours talking with various representatives of Spectrum, and finally they concluded that I must have a VPN on my PC, because that is why they say that I have not been able to access my Spectrum account and watch TV.
That is very possible. And AVG, if you have the professional version, I think it's called AVG Secure. At any rate, there is a VPN in it. So you would need to go into the AVG software and turn that off.
Okay, I may have to try and contact the company to find out how to get that screen up. But anyway.
Well, you should just be able to open up the AVG software, and one of the choices
down in the tray, lower right-hand corner tray, right-click on the AVG icon that's in the tray there, and usually they say settings or configure.
Okay, and I choose which, settings or configure?
It's
settings. Try settings, and if it's not in there, it'll be in configure. But you try settings first.
It's usually one or the other.
Okay, good.
It usually doesn't say both. It usually says one or the other.
One of the two of those, yes.
And if that is where it was activated, I presume that it's simply a toggle to turn it on or off?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Terrence.
Thank you. Good luck. Have fun.
Bye.
Come back to Rochester when it's warm. We're gonna take a quick break. I said we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, Dennis Worster, Steve Ray virtually, me, Nick Francesco, and you. It's 29 minutes after the hour. It's Sound Bites right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
It's America's longest-running computer show. Back to more Sound Bites with Nick, Dave, and Steve. Next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
This is an NBC News Radio special report. The Russian invasion of Ukraine. The president of Ukraine is pleading with the U.S. for more planes and missiles. Volodymyr Zelensky said President Biden should not bother sending helmets to fight the Russian invasion, but should instead send more missiles and planes. The Ukrainian city of Mariupol says it'll take at least $10 billion to repair the damage caused by Russian attacks on the city. Here's Lisa Taylor.
The mayor told the city council Friday that war criminals must be punished for all damage and human suffering. He added that the city is working to obtain reparations from Russia.
Hundreds of Ukrainians fleeing the Russian war are camped out in Tijuana as they try to cross the U.S. border. A report from Reuters says about 600 Ukrainian refugees are spread out on blankets and lawn chairs near the international port of entry near San Diego, and about 500 more are staying in nearby hotels. This has been an NBC News Radio special report, The Russian Invasion of Ukraine. I'm Julie Ryan.
Add a dramatic touch of elegance to your indoor decor with Fiddle Leaf Fig. Hi, I'm Melinda Myers, horticulturist and gardening expert. You may have recently noticed these tree-like houseplants in many of the decorating magazines. Their tall, columnar form and large fiddle-shaped leaves make them a standout against neutral-colored walls and furnishings. Grow these tropical beauties in or near a warm, sunny window away from drafts of hot or cold air. Turn the plants occasionally to encourage even growth. Water thoroughly whenever the top inch of soil is slightly dry. Pour off any excess water that remains in the saucer, or place pebbles in the saucer to elevate the pot above the excess water. Allow it to evaporate and increase the humidity around the plant. Go easy on the fertilizer. Most houseplants only need to be fertilized once every 1 to 3 months and only when they are actively growing March through September. Check out our website for this and other gardening tips. Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by animal repellent Plant Skid. It's organic and safe for use on fruits and vegetable gardens, as well as trees, shrubs, and flowers. Plant Skid uses odors associated with predators, encouraging animals like deer, rabbits, bulls, elk, moose, chipmunks, and squirrels to dine elsewhere. Information on how to protect plants from animal damage can be found at plantskydd.com. That's plantskid.com. Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by Summit Responsible Solutions, a manufacturer of organic, all-natural mosquito control products under the Mosquito Dunks brand name. Mosquito dunks can be used in ponds, bird baths, rain barrels, or wherever water collects. Non-toxic to people, pets, fish, birds, and other wildlife, mosquito dunks are available at local and national garden centers everywhere. Information on how to control mosquitoes can be found at summitresponsibleSolutions.com.
Hi, this is Dave Koz. April is Jazz Appreciation Month. Did you know that jazz has influenced virtually every type of American music in the 20th century, from classical to Broadway to R&B? In fact, jazz has inspired painters, poets, novelists, dancers, and filmmakers. Let it inspire you. jazz. Born in America, enjoyed worldwide. For more information, visit smithsonianjazz.org.
Here's the latest Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
Your Saturday will definitely be the better of the 2 weekend days with an ample amount of sunshine, not too much of a breeze, the high temperature into the mid 40s. That's still a bit cool for this stage in the game in April. Tonight brings increasing clouds. Look for scattered showers of both rain and wet snow. Overnight low temperatures into the low 30s. Sunday a bit on the gloomy side with an overcast sky and scattered showers of both rain and wet snow. Could see a little bit of accumulation in the hills south of the Thruway, the high in the low 40s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
I don't know what happened to.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm still Dennis Worster.
And in 34 minutes after the hour, we are Soundbites. Rich Simpson said those USB to SATA cables will work for laptop drives, but I believe will not have enough power to handle a desktop hard drive. That is absolutely true. You can also get the model, which was why mine costs more, that have an auxiliary power cord that plugs into them. So if I am, and in fact, I took about half a dozen laptop drives and another half a dozen full-size hard drives. And the laptop drives work just fine with USB that had power in it.
Mm-hmm.
The desktop drives did require that extra power cable in order to run.
There's another device that I have that is cool. It's maybe about 4 inches long. It's plastic. It looks like a bowl.
Okay.
And what it has is it has different pockets in it. You can slide the an old IDE drive down into it, and then connect it to a USB slot, or you could put an SATA drive in it. It also has the workings for micro SD cards and extra USB ports. And I think it cost me, because it was an all-in-one hard drive, all-in-one reader, and I think it maybe cost like $25.
Yeah. I had the one that I got is just for SATA, which was a mistake. But you can also buy, even if it's just the cable, with 3 connectors on the end.
Mm-hmm.
IDE, SATA 3, and I forget what the other one is. It doesn't matter. But the point is,
SCSI?
Yeah, it must be SCSI. So the point is, you can get those, and those are again fairly cheap. But Rich is right. You want something, if you're going to do full-size hard drives, you need one that has an external power cord with it. If you're only doing laptop ones, then the power that comes out of the USB itself is enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. You get, I think, 500 milliamps.
Good point. Yeah. Or whatever it is. But you're absolutely right, Rich. Good point.
That's enough to spin the little motor that spins the hard drive platters, even if you've got a platter drive and not just an SSD.
Right.
You can make that work.
Right.
And it's a super handy cable to have if you are trying to move between machines, or if you're trying to troubleshoot things. It saves so much time and frustration.
The other thing,
let me finish that. If you want to permanently add a drive, you can also buy, for example, I have a SATA 3 enclosure.
Yeah, I was going to say
USB.
You can you can get the enclosures that will handle both full height drives and small
half height drives or laptop drives, whatever you've got.
That's
I have one of those I have one of those. So my hard drive is bigger than my Raspberry Pi that sits on top of it. It's hysterical to look at. But you can do that easily as well. So there's lots of ways. Often what died in your computer is not the hard drive.
Right.
Now, hard drives have a mean time between failure of 5 years. So if your laptop is 5 years old, that hard drive may not be the healthiest, but you can still use it as a temporary storage or a backup medium or whatever you want. And in particular, it's less important nowadays because we have so much RAM. But back in the day when you didn't have a lot of RAM, if you had a separate small hard drive to put your swap file on, it made your machine much faster because you didn't interrupt the main drive to swap stuff in and out.
Right.
I used that on the old Frog Pond BBS, and it was great.
In the days of virtual memory, yeah, when RAM was so expensive,
Right.
then this was the next best thing, and it came at a cost of speed. But we were willing to wait with time more than we had dollars to try and solve the problem.
My Linux machine has 16 gig of RAM, so my swap space is 32 gig.
Mm-hmm.
I've never used any of it.
Right.
Ever. And on the one hand, now I'm wasting 32 gig of my hard drive. On the other hand, that's a terabyte drive, and I've got a 2 terabyte drive in there as well. So I'm not,
space isn't an issue.
I'm not really worried. But although when I was backing up all of those hard drives, at one point I only had 300 gig free on my
oh my goodness
2 terabyte drive. I was short of breath.
Yes.
I really was.
The shaking has only recently stopped.
Moment.
The day that I legitimately, without those, went over a terabyte and had less than 50% of my storage left.
Right.
It was a traumatic moment.
Yes. I feel that way about my Synology. It's
yeah.
You start filling up, you're like, oh, I thought I had a lot of, hey, where'd all the where's my
Yeah, I ran into that because now I have a separate Pi that's for my wife backing up her photos.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I took a look at it one moment because I was going to use that as another little, because I figured I could take a little bit. It's a 2 terabyte hard drive.
Sure.
I'll grab a little space off there to also back up some of my
Is this
stuff.
like when your spouse, you go out to eat and you get the French fries and they say that they're only going to have a couple.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, they've had half the fries. It's like that, but for geeks.
For geeks.
She uploaded so many photos there because of her picture taking for the grave sites. I looked at it and it was 3/4 of the way full on a 2 terabyte drive.
Looks to me like you're buying another drive for her.
No, I says, no, time to do some house cleaning. She had folders on there that she had worked on over a year ago. The pictures are already up there.
That's the problem, isn't it? When you have so much space, you don't do house cleaning.
Right.
And that's where I said, whoa, no, time out. What about all these? Well, I already did those. Do we need them anymore?
It's like living in a warehouse.
They're gone.
Now you need
All
to
of a
buy.
sudden-
No, you need to buy another drive and
no.
archive them.
Nope.
Yeah, you say
No,
nope until the day comes when your wife says, "Oh, I need that file back."
No, I don't have to worry about it now because they're going to Amazon
Oh
Prime.
yeah. They're going to Amazon Prime. As long as they're up there, you're all good.
That's
Once she's done
unlimited.
working for them, but they're archived, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and as long as you're ready to pay rent on that drive space, then
Well,
you can
if
do
you're
that.
already paying for Amazon Prime because
get
you
it.
want the video,
True,
or because you do free shipping, like my wife does for
then
her
it's a value
business,
add.
then it's just free.
Yeah, we get the video.
Yeah, we
Or the
we
TV.
did it originally for the shipping for her business.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, Prime Video is free for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and the Amazon Photos is free for us.
All gravy on top.
It's all gravy on top because that's a business expense. We were paying for that.
Right.
Yep.
So yeah, I just did that the other day. I uploaded some 22,000 photos.
My goodness.
Well, I can put them. But see, the thing of it is once she has them up linked to Find a Grave, they're there. And
right, they're up there too. Right.
People would have to, and they don't have the rights to delete her photos. They can send her an email and request to have them changed or anything else, and but once they're there, so she doesn't need them anymore.
Right.
It's not like the people are going to move out of the cemetery.
Right.
Once they're there, they're there.
Most of the files that I uploaded were from my father-in-law's hard drive. When he passed, I got his machine, but I just left it in a corner, never did anything with it. So I finally went, like I said, I went and took out all the hard drives so I could recycle the
That is the
hardware.
thing that I can't stress enough to folks is, documents and all that other stuff can be recreated. The photos
cannot.
Have to be your number one priority, and backing up, and then back up one more time.
Exactly right. And that's the important thing. And you've got to remember, you can't get those photos back. So yeah, I put all those up. I shared them with my wife and my sister-in-law, his 2 children, and they were thrilled. There's relatives that died 40 years ago.
Right.
And all of that. So there's just a lot of stuff there that was a beautiful thing for her.
Well, that's
all right.
nice.
What?
That's nice.
That is nice. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Mark from Greece, New York. Hi, Mark. What's up?
Hi, Nick. How are you?
Peachy. How are you?
I'm peachy also.
There you go.
I just wanted to say, you guys were talking about Avast before, and I'm a big proponent of Avast. I think it's gone way up. I gave up on it a while ago.
Yeah.
About 4 years ago, and I went over to Komodo, but I'm now back to Avast. They've really, really improved the free product, and their paid product is spectacular too.
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
Well, my first thing I like about it is that I can do a boot time scan.
Okay.
Right.
And nice to be able to check for something when, the computer's not booted.
Right, because if for everybody else, if you have a rootkit, that takes over right at boot. So even a regular antivirus will often not find it because it's blocking that. Whereas if you scan at boot before anything else loads, you can catch those and remove them.
Okay.
Right, and I haven't found another antivirus that does a boot scan.
Which one?
That I know of.
No, he hasn't found
I haven't found one that hasn't. That's the only one I know that has the feature.
Right.
And I also like that it, for as much as there is in there, it's very lightweight.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'm a big proponent of that, paid and free.
Okay.
Yep.
They're spectacular. So, out of all of them, that's one of my favorites now. Again, I think whatever they've done, they've really improved it.
Nice.
Step their game up.
Very, very high level. So,
all right.
Oh, by the way, Nick.
Yeah.
I see you like the coffee poster I sent you.
I loved it. Thank you.
I thought it was right up your alley.
It was indeed. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Anytime, my friend.
Very good.
Thanks.
Have a wonderful day.
Yeah.
You too.
Thank
Have
you.
fun.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Avast is one of the many antivirus programs that are available. I think it's available for pretty much everything.
Yeah. We've got some business clients that make use of it.
Yeah. The business version is available for a lot of systems.
Right. And the management tools there are coming along nicely too, to make sure that all of the machines in the business are up to date and their virus definitions are up to date.
Right,
Set up
right.
scheduled scans, etc. You could do that on all the platforms.
Right. All right. Back to the phones. Our next caller is James from Rochester, New York. Hi, James. What's up?
Oh, yes. I have a Windows Defender that came with my inexpensive laptop. How long does that stay on, or do I have to renew that? It's been a year and a half, and I haven't done anything, and it's still on there.
The good news is you are still, it's still running. You have Windows Defender is from Microsoft, and it is free, and it runs all the time.
Yeah, because I checked the settings and it says no action needed. I have the firewalls. Is that all I need for this inexpensive laptop?
Yeah, pretty much. You don't need anything else. Defender is good. It is not great. I wouldn't necessarily use it in a business.
No,
but in a home environment, it's fine.
It's a secondary laptop, and this obviously runs in the S mode. Is that, I know for the inexpensive laptops, is that S mode more secure than like my big Dell?
Theoretically, because you can only load things from the Microsoft Store.
Right.
And that theoretically makes it more secure. In practice, not so much, but theoretically, you can only load things from the Microsoft Store.
I would say that was Microsoft's intent.
Yes.
That was one of the things that they were claiming to be a feature.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. For me, a secondary laptop that I just to look at things on.
Right.
All the firewalls are on. It says no action needed. The only thing I want to do is stop the pop-ups in the lower right-hand corner, which
Right.
half of them are advertising or pushing for something.
Yeah, I would say you have done a reasonable job with, given what you're intending to do and the tools that you've got, you've applied them in a very reasonable way.
Okay. How often should I run the CCleaner on this secondary laptop?
Generally speaking, you don't need to run it too often. When things seem sluggish, as you load and unload programs, testing them, playing with them, stuff like that, that's when CCleaner is most useful. It doesn't hurt to run it, but it isn't really necessary. Once a month or so, maybe.
Yeah, just like I say, I don't do any work on this. It's just to look. It's just look at things or whatever, check this and that.
Right.
Okay, then the Defender, that's good. Well,
Yeah, that's
thank
fine.
you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, James. Have fun.
Okay.
Yeah, the Windows Defender is Microsoft's antivirus program. It's free, comes with every Mac, every Windows machine.
Right.
Windows Defender comes with every Mac, just because the heck with you.
That's see, now that's an agreement that I would have loved to hear about, the boardroom negotiations
fly on that wall.
that allowed to happen there.
Exactly. And videos as well. William says, yeah, you can.
Now, that being said, if you were a bad guy and you were writing a virus, I think the first thing you would do is make sure your virus knew how to get around Windows Defender.
That's exactly right, because so many machines run it.
Right.
The fact is that that's one of the reasons that for many years we recommended people use some of the lesser known virus programs because nobody wrote stuff to get around them.
Right.
One of the things I like about ClamAV is that you can also run it in manual mode.
Yes.
So, every once in a while, you just run ClamAV on a system and see if it's finding anything that got around the
other stuff. Yeah.
William says videos as well. I assume that is talking about Amazon photos. Yes, but you only get 5 gig of video storage.
By default, unless you want to pay for more.
Unless you're paying for more,
Right.
you only get 5 gig, but you get unlimited pictures.
Do they downsample those the way Google does in
They
some
do
of their
not.
free tiers? Okay.
They do not. And so yeah, like I was saying, I put up a bunch of pictures of folks who have not been around ever. For the last 25 years, people were thrilled to see them. Photos from his childhood. So yeah, there was just a lot of really pretty cool stuff.
I want to think that in the future, people will be able to use facial recognition, especially as people age over time in different photos, and that they'll draw links between the people so that you can jump.
Well, I haven't tested that yet on Amazon because, it takes a couple of days after you upload them for that to kick in.
Right.
But I have done that on Google. And for example, it finds pictures of my wife from when we were married 40 years ago, from her childhood.
Wow.
And now, and I think that's scary, but very cool when it's working for you.
Well, yeah. And if it gets reasonable in a family, that would be an interesting way to just build up a family tree.
Yeah.
Just by photos.
Yep.
Kind of interesting.
Yep.
Of course, it depends on everything being accurate, but.
Everything being accurate, and you have to label people.
Right.
So, it'll find my face, but if I say search Nick and I haven't labeled me as Nick,
right,
it won't find me.
Right. Well, and it may have trouble if you have a beard in one and don't.
I think that hasn't been since I was like 15. So yeah. All right. Back to the phones. Our next caller is Frank from Webster, New York. What's up, Frank?
How you doing? I'm hoping to have green light someday.
Yep.
Me too.
Closer. Right. But I'm in the process of finishing insulating my attic. And I'm on a slab, so the cable has to come through the attic and down to a wall.
Right.
Could I pre-run the cable so that I don't have to get up there when it's all full of insulation for them? I mean, do you know what kind of fiber cable they use?
I do not. That is something you would have to ask them, I'm afraid.
Contact them.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know. Mine just came in through a wall on my second floor.
Now, that being said, they do run a fiber into the house.
Right.
Then they give you a box that's about the size of a deck of playing cards, and it has a connection for the fiber, and it has a connection for a power, and it's an adapter that turns it into regular computer network cable.
Right. I saw the video online.
Yeah. One thing you could do is run the network cable in the wall in advance. And as long as you've got electricity up in the attic, then you could have that little deck of cards adapter up there. Now, it would be kind of a pain in the butt if you call in for support and they say, hey, you need to turn that off and on again. But if you wanted to do something in advance, that would be something you could do.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'd rather run it down through the wall and have it where the current internet comes in.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately DSL, but
well, hey, you got to start somewhere.
Got to start somewhere. All right. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks for calling.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it can be tough. I would also, see if you can take a Greenlight sales rep to lunch and see what you can learn from them. And I bet if they know it, they'll share it.
Yeah, I'm sure they would answer that question without a problem.
But there's single mode, there's multi-mode, there's different diameters, there's a whole bunch of factors.
I've never honestly paid much attention to what that cable is. They installed it,
right?
Gave me my ONT, the optical network terminal, which is the modem,
the deck of cards thing,
and walked away. I dust it once in a while, and it runs.
The little light blinks, and you smile at it and pat it nicely, and then proceed on your day.
Yep. In the last 5 years, however long I've had Greenlight,
right?
It's gone out a total of twice. Once because somebody out on the street they were digging up a sewage line, and broke the cable. Hardly Greenlight's fault.
Nope, not their fault.
And the other was an outage in the neighborhood. Again, not their fault.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, we've seen that too, especially in companies where there's construction going on, and we call it the fiber-seeking backhoe. To grab and crunch the fiber and break the optical connection, and then take down an entire building. So it can be a annoying day for everybody involved.
Yeah. Living Room Jazz by William again says, many of our family members are reluctant to use social media. So I store pictures in a half dozen other places that aren't online or virtual. Yeah, I get that.
Okay.
And
just make sure people know where to find it.
And Steve says their box said Corning when they installed his. But again, it tells
varies.
you who made the cable, not what kind of cable it is.
Right. Yeah, no, it's true. But there are so many different kinds of fiber that that's something that's easy to get wrong. Whereas if you are running Category 6 networking cable, that is all created to a standard. And in general, those are much more likely to behave nicely, even if you don't pick the exact right flavor. So that's why I made the recommendation.
Oh, did you see the announcement this week?
What's that?
Which announcement?
Orbi now comes out with, how they had the Orbi 5?
Okay.
Orbi 6 is out.
Nice.
And supposedly it is a lot stronger as far as the Wi-Fi. It in a home will go a lot farther as far as distance, great speeds.
Now tell everybody what an Orbi is.
Orbi is
the word and we didn't define it.
When you're getting your say Greenlight or even Spectrum, if you've just using your own modem, you want to check it, connect it to a router. A router hands out the addresses. Think of it like a traffic cop. And your internet comes to the router, and it sits there and passes out unique addresses, so it knows where each PC or laptop or tablet is in the house, even your own phone.
So all your devices can use the same single internet connection.
Right, but it keeps them separate, and you can also all share the same point going out to the internet. So one person could be watching TV, another person could be texting their friends back and forth, over the internet and back and forth. But Orbi just came out with I have the Orbi 50, and it's a great modem, great coverage. It even came with a satellite that I put upstairs. Because like Nick, I've got an old house, and it's got the Faraday cage effect in it. So I've got the satellite upstairs, which broadcasts the wireless, which is better for my internet and for the TV. So they just announced the 6, and that's supposed to be a lot stronger.
Yeah, it's a Wi-Fi 6 system, 6 gigabits. Get a router plus one satellite. $800 currently, $100 off, $700.
And is this the Netgear?
This is Netgear, the Orbi.
Neat.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty neat. Thing. I suppose how fast your system is depends on what radio bands you have in your phone or your laptop or whatever.
Right.
There's no miracle here, but if you've got the right Wi-Fi, you can do 6 gigabit per second speed. So that's not half bad.
Good.
All right, we are done for another week. I want to thank Dave Enright. I want to thank Steve Ray, who was so kind as to get us up and running on StreamYard. We'll see what happens next week. I think I'm going to bring a real laptop next week. Thank you, Steve. I want to thank Dennis Worster, who was wonderful to come in while Steve is one step ahead of the law. I think somebody's breaking down your door, Steve. You better run. Dennis Worster came in, and we'll see if Steve eludes them for next week or if we have Dennis back. But I want to thank everybody. We'll see you in just 166 hours.
Here's another I Love New York travel tip.
You can feel the excitement when the snows